It's Allison Gingras again. I'm going to read a little bit more of Encountering Signs of Faith, my unexpected journey with the sacramentals, the saints, and the abundant grace of God. And today I'm going to share one of my absolute favorite stories from the adoption process for my daughter and from my book. I'm talking in chapter 2 about Sister Faustina, Saint Faustina, and the Divine Mercy Hour, the Divine Mercy Chaplet and the Divine Mercy, the book on Divine Mercy, her Saint Faustina's diary. That would be what I'm talking about. And there was this moment in the adoption process where I'd gone out to dinner with a good friend who was a teacher. And at the time, I was a homeschooling mom, and I knew that Faith would be deaf. And I was kind of sharing my plans for educating her and what I thought I would do when she got home. And my friend just very kindly, just very um, I guess in a way wisely too, said, well, you are a great teacher, but you're not a teacher of the deaf. And perhaps this is something you should look into. But instead of taking this as great advice that I should just go and read about and ask questions and learn, I took it as an affront in my very sensitive place at the time because we had already been delayed in adopting her. We had gotten her picture and we were told 6 to 8 weeks, and it was moving into months at this point. It would actually be 6 months from the day we got her picture before we'd actually meet Faithy and be with her. And in this very broken place, I came back home. I plopped myself in the middle of her nursery and I grabbed what I thought was my Bible. But instead, it actually ended up being St. Faustina's diary. And I remember being just in this very weird place, or I was struggling with some health issues at the time. And we were struggling with finances and again, worrying that I would not be able to have the skills and talents I would need to help Faith and just become part of our family, but also learn and just this whole miserable moment. And I write about it in Encountering Signs of Faith, and I want to read that to you now. Overwrought from contemplating what I could not provide for my daughter, instead of all the wonderful things I could offer her, I went home, weighted beneath my escalating doubts and insecurities. I sat in her prepared but empty bedroom and cried. I told the Lord I was the wrong person for this mission. I can't do any of this, I sobbed, and went to find my Bible for consolation. Realizing my Bible was in the room with my sleeping husband, I instead picked up St. Faustina's diary. Purchased after the novena piqued my interest in Faustina and her encounters with Christ when I had left, which I had left on the coffee table. I opened to these words. Jesus said, "My daughter, why are you giving in to thoughts of fear?" I answered, being Faustina answered, "Oh Lord, you know why." And he said, "Why?" And Faustina said, and these were really the words I was thinking, which is why this is such a remarkable moment. "This work frightens me. You know that I am incapable of carrying it out." And again, Jesus said, "Why?" "You see very well that I am not in good health and I have no education, I have no money, that I am an abyss of misery, that I fear contacts with people." Anyone who knows me knows I fear contact with people. I have mysophobia, which is the irrational fear of contamination, the very definition of fear of contact with people. Jesus, Faustina continues, "I desire only you. You can release me from this." And the Lord said to me, "My daughter, what you have said is true. You are very miserable." Oh, way to sugarcoat it, Jesus. "And it pleased me to carry out this work of mercy precisely through you, who are nothing but misery itself. Do not fear," Jesus continues. "I will not leave you alone. Do whatever you can in this matter, and I will accomplish everything that is lacking in you. You know what is in within your power to do. Do that." And I go on with a little bit more of that reading from St. Faustina's Diary 881. But I want to go and finish up with what I said after reading this. So this is like a total Godsidance moment. I'm having this moment, and let me say that I opened randomly to this page. I didn't know about this scripture, this passage in the diary. I didn't go looking for it. I had never heard it before. I was just on the floor crying, saying pretty much the exact same things that Faustina is saying here. I have no money. I'm not in good health. I have no education. I'm afraid of people. Why are you sending me to China? Just kind of falling apart. And then I find this scripture. It says, You are misery itself. And I respond, again, in Encountering Signs of Faith, I write, I burst into that intense place between hysterical laughter and uncontrollable tears. I shared each worry of Faustina's, except for me, it was regarding my vocation as Faithy's mom. I lacked the proper education to be the best teacher for her. We had no money to complete the adoption, and my anxiety threatened to keep me from flying to bring her home. I was indeed misery itself. Jesus did not sugarcoat his response to Faustina, nor did he did to me as I poured my heart out on Faithy's bedroom floor that night. My daughter, what you have said is true. You are miserable. As difficult and humorous as those words were to hear, the next words brought such a rush of relief. I could barely breathe that night. My daughter, what you have said is true. Do whatever you can in the matter, and I will accomplish everything that is lacking in you. You know what is in your power to do. Do that. How many circumstances do we find ourselves in thinking, I can't do this. I lack everything to accomplish it. What comfort I took and prayer, and I pray you do as well in knowing you are right. You cannot do it, but God can. Nothing is impossible for him who created day and night, told the stars where to go, and decided how far the ocean would come into the land. Do what you can and know he is faithful and he will do the rest. This is an excerpt from Encountering Signs of Faith, my unexpected journey with the sacramentals, the saints, and the abundant grace of God. Out now from Ave Maria Press. You can learn more on avemariapress.com or on reconciledtoyou.com. God bless. And I truly hope you see that God is working in your life, especially in those places where you are truly misery itself.